Yeah, Dave, I guess as far as Fabian, their home run hitter, is he a guy that have teams been attacking him or trying to pitch around him as far as what
You
he
know,
does?
a little bit of both because it probably obviously it depends on the score, who's on base. It's hard to pitch to him because obviously he hits good pitches that are strikes, but he also can go out of the zone and drive it. He just has tremendous bat speed, and when the ball or when that bat makes contact with the ball, it jumps. I mean, he's when you see him physically, he's not a real big guy, but he's got some serious power.
As far as your rotation, just what do you go with after Wicklander, I presume, Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, we'll go with Wicklander game one, and then we're going to go with Bolden game two and leave game three open.
Thank you.
Yep. Tom?
Hi, Dave. It's been an interesting season. You played a lot of top-ranked teams, and here you are with controlling your own fate in the SEC. I wonder what it's felt like to be in this position right now.
Well, it's a good feeling. At least we don't have to sit around and watch a scoreboard and hope for things. We have a chance to go out and, and play our way into a championship or whatever. I mean, it's good. I always tell the guys they all count, 30 games, so there'll be a lot going on this weekend and other games that could hurt us or help us, but at least we know that we can go out there and we control our own destiny. Obviously, Florida is probably the most talented team in the country, at least on paper. That's what we've been told, and we've had people tell us how good they are, and we know that we have our hands full with Florida.
How interesting do you find it that you're in the final regular season weekend and you've made a change on your Saturday starter and your Sunday's a TBA, and you're still playing the way you play on weekends?
Yeah, I mean, we probably could have announced a third day starter, but we need to see where we're at. Who do we need to use to win game one? Do we have a chance to win game one? Same with game two. Paulette's been pitching there, but we might bring him out of the pen tomorrow. We might bring him out of the pen Saturday or start him on Sunday or start him on Saturday, game three. We could announce Lockhart because he started really well against Tennessee and did a great job. But we figured we wanted to get Bolden a start. He deserves it. He pitched really well. Gave us a chance to get back in that game and win it the other day. Give us a chance to win it, and we just felt like that. He's older. He deserves it. But yeah, I mean, I guess to answer your question is, and basically what you're saying is, you don't have three lockdown starters all year and still changing things up, and you've got a chance to win the SEC championship. I mean, it's just been a great group effort. It's about the team, and the team really pulls for each other. And yeah, there's guys that are disappointed that maybe they don't get to start, whether it's in the field or in a game on the mound. But bottom line, they just want to win. They just want to help the team, and I think that's one reason that we're where we are. We don't really have a selfish team. They just want to win. Bob?
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Good.
This is going to be the first weekend you can have full capacity. So I assume the fans are going to show up in big numbers. What's your feelings about that?
On the fans, we're really excited. I mean, even told the players, when it came out that there's a lot of new guys in the program and guys that were new last year that really didn't get to feel an SEC crowd or at home. And this will be their first time and only time as far as an SEC crowd. And it's different. We need the fans. We need the fans to be loud. We need the fans to help us. And this is when they can do it. Full crowd, playing a great team like Florida. And we need them to be into it and like it's a super regional. We need that kind of feel here.
And I know how much time you probably spend on Twitter. Speaking of super regional, Kendall Rogers, who always seems to know what's going on nationally, he tweeted that the NCAA is expected to announce today full capacity for regionals and super regionals for baseball and softball. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that happened, and we're expecting to have to host a regional here. So we're really excited about it. Number one, we're excited that more fans get to come to the game. Number two, we think it's good for for us. I mean, we play the schedule we played, and done what we've done. You'd like to have a little bit of a home field advantage, and it is. You can say it's not, but it is. And you know, so we're pretty excited about it. But you know, we got to get through this weekend and talk about that more.
And you said people have told you Florida's the most talented team. Are you talking about pro scouts, or who are you getting feedback from?
Yeah, just other coaches in the league, and they are. I mean, they were preseason #1 in like every poll, and they have really good arms. They had good freshman arms come in. They kept some guys that didn't sign last year in the 5-round draft. They're playing more freshmen in the field now. They've got some really good hitters. They're a dangerous team. I mean, there's a lot of teams in the SEC that are dangerous, and Florida's one of them. So, am I saying they're better than Mississippi State or Ole Miss or some of these other teams we played? They're just as good from what we've been told.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Hodge?
Yeah, Dave, Peyton had a couple of really good starts out or appearances out of the bullpen. How confident are you that he's able to maybe be a long relief guy, and how do you think he'll embrace that role if that's how you have to use him?
Oh, I think he would. I think he would do a great job at it. Like you said, we witnessed it after we took him out of the rotation after a couple, 3, shaky starts, and he went to the pen and he did a great job. And then we kind of promoted him back to a starter, and he's had some good outings. It's just hasn't been quite as consistent as we've needed. So I think he'll do a great job, and I think he wants to win like everybody else. Sure, he would like to start, but I think he gets it, and we have confidence in him. He's got a really good arm, and he can get good hitters out, and that's what you have to be able to do in this league. So yeah, you'll see him. You'll see him this week.
And with Lockhart, if you do start him, it seems like he's really good for 4 innings and maybe hits a wall in the 5th. What's the key to getting him through that 5th inning?
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess the thing is, at least we know. And, we have other pitchers, like Castillo, he's 4 hitters or 2 innings max, and we bring him back out. We've done it 7 times this year, and it hadn't worked out. Well, we didn't bring him back out the other day. And, we've got a couple other guys that have kind of told us what to do. And, we've lived with it. We've learned, we've lived with it. We've learned. And now we move on to the next guy. So, hey, if Lockhart gets a start and he goes 4 strong innings, we'll probably send him back out, but we'll have a guy ready, to see if we can get him through. But if he doesn't, we can't be 2 hitters too late. But yeah, I don't know what you do. You keep trying, but you know what it's done in the past, and you try to be ready to handle it.
Andrew Ellis?
Hey, Coach, Florida always seems to have power arms, but their strikeout numbers are a little bit low considering some of the talent on the staff. Just what do you make of their overall numbers and kind of their staff as a whole?
Well, their overall staff as a whole it's dynamic. I mean, they've got a little bit of everything. They've got left, right. They've got sinkers, sliders, change-ups, location guys. They can bring a little bit of everything at you. Those guys they're just really good baseball coaches over there. Sully, respect him and his staff, and they recruit good players, and they have a lot of options down in their way, and they've kept a lot of kids from signing over the last few years, or kids have decided to go to Florida instead of going into professional baseball. And it's one of the top 1 or 2 programs in the country over the last 10 years, and they're hard to maneuver. You've got to, when you get a chance to score, you better score. And as far as striking out people, strikeouts sometimes are overrated. Yeah, they're great. You got to get one when you need one, but you got to be able to pitch. And they flip-flopped some guys. They took some of their starters and put them in the bullpen and have used them at the end, or used them in the middle because for some reason they weren't getting off to a good start or whatever. Different scenarios. They felt like they could be stronger that way, and I think it's really helped them the second half of the season. It's worked out.
And also, you've had a lot of freshmen, true freshman position players that have had big years for you over the past, since your time here. How do you think Caden Wallace compares to some of those guys as far as just consistency? Because it seems like he's producing week in and week out.
He's right up there with any of them. He's hitting over 300. Yeah, he's hitting over 300. He's got 30 plus RBIs. I think he's got double-digit home runs. He just missed a couple the past weekend, him off the top of the wall. I mean, he's been consistent, like you said, and he's played a really good right field. He's made some really nice plays. He can run. I mean, he's going to be he'll be a factor again the rest of this year, next year, and he's going to be a really good professional.
Steph?
Yeah, Dave, a little off the wall here, but maybe a little appropriate with the fans coming back. I'm curious, when did you first notice, we're working on a story about the beer hats, and then what was your first reaction to that, and how it's kind of taken off with the fans?
Yeah, I don't know how long they've been doing it. I mean, obviously we started noticing when you got a group of guys down the first base line with these goofy looking hats on, we didn't know what they were. And then we kind of started realizing they only put them on when we have the bases loaded, and now they're all over the stadium. I don't know where they buy them, but they do. It's been, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, it seems like, since they started doing it. I may be way off there, but yeah, it's kind of a cool tradition. I like it because that means we got the bases loaded.
And then one other thing, what's it like having Charlie Welch, a guy that has done really well coming off the bench, in that role?
He's been the best I've probably ever had. Pinch hitter, spot starter. A lot of times on most teams, he'd be our starting DH, whether it's a left-hander or a right-hander, but for sure against lefties, because he hits them pretty good and hits the righties well if you look at the matchup numbers. But Matt Goodhart has kind of had that position, and it's interesting. It's been tough to keep him out of the lineup, but knowing you have that guy, it's kind of a weapon anytime in the game. If you have the right opportunity, depending on the score, to catch up, to build up a lead, and you can plug him in, and he's not going to get a hit every time, but he usually has a pretty good at bat.
Jason?
Coach, you mentioned the team. I mean, is this as close a group of guys that you've ever had, and how much has maybe COVID played into these guys becoming closer and you guys having more success on the field?
It's hard to remember back all the teams. The 04 team is really close, or we wouldn't have done what we've done. I'm going to pick way down there in the league and won it. This team reminds me a little bit of the 19 team, the team after the real good team, who said, we're not going to let us down. And that team from midseason on, they bonded, and that was a really fun team to coach all the way to Omaha. Lost 2 one-run games in Omaha. Probably should have won both of them. We had our opportunities. It was a disappointing finish, but what a fun team. This team reminds me of that team, and we still have a lot of work to do. But as far as, just watching them bond a little bit, because it was really hard in the fall because we had them spread out all over this place. We only have so many in the locker room. We had them in the players' lounge. We had them other side of the stadium. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of conversations going on like normal. So we kept telling them, you got to get to know each other. It was difficult, but I think they appreciate the fact that they get to play baseball, and they like I say it 10 times today, they show up every day and they play. And they play hard, and they think they're going to win, and they'll fight you to the end. So I really appreciate that. I know the other coaches do as well, but it's a close team. They've gotten closer, especially since conference play started. I've seen a team with some fire in their eyes in certain situations that maybe in the past I hadn't seen some from some teams. I just feel like that they want to fight you.
I know you don't mention a lot about the rankings and expectations, but for a team to go all the way through a conference season ranked number 1 in the country, you talk about the fire. I mean, how fun has that been to see this team show up each weekend?
Yeah, I don't mention it at all, not even a little. I've never mentioned it to the team. So they know, obviously, and they know that different things will happen if it doesn't go well. I don't think that the rankings were really that important to them. Like they're just fighting to stay at the top. I don't believe that at all. I don't see it. Never hear it talk. I hear a lot of talk. I hear a lot of things I wouldn't repeat, but I'm not going to tell you. but I've never really heard guys in there talking about being ranked or where they're at, or if we don't win this game, we're going to fall out of the top 5. They know that it's nice and it's fun and maybe some bragging rights, for the fans, but for them to hang in there and stay up there all year, it's been special. It just means they show up every day and they found a way to win each weekend. And, they know what we want to do, and that's win at the end.
Randy?
Yeah, Dave, as far as winning, if you can win the conference, you feel like there's such a stress on postseason and Omaha and all that people really don't appreciate winning a round robin, what that takes, especially in a league like the SEC.
Yeah, I take it back to the days when I coached at Nebraska, and I think it was my 3rd year there, maybe 4th, when we won the Big 12 championship. Nebraska Cornhuskers just beat Texas A&M, 2 Oklahoma schools, Baylor, all those people, and we won the league outright. To me, that was the biggest accomplishment to me that we achieved. Because you can get hot, play good at the end, get a break, and you can get to Omaha, every now and then, maybe once in a while. But when you go through the gauntlet of the SEC week in and week out, and you can hang in there and have a chance to win the league, it's a big deal. And I do believe that maybe fans that aren't super, super close to college baseball, they probably don't understand as much as the ones that do. But it's not our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is to play late into June. And, I've never talked to our team about winning the West, winning the overall, winning the conference tournament. We'll bring it up. These guys, they want to win. We know they want to win. That's why they work hard every day. And if we win it, it'd be awesome. If we don't, hats off to the team that does. We'll just keep playing.
Thanks.
Randy?
Dave, what do you see as the strengths of this year's Florida team?
Wow, that's a good question. I remember, I think it was Aaron Fitz said something like before the season, maybe he went and watched him, and he said, this is the most complete Florida team he'd ever seen. I think he said that. Somebody said that knows college baseball really well. And I think that's what he meant by that was, man, they can really pitch. They can really hit. They got a lot of options, a lot of weapons. And I think that's probably the strength of their team is they have options offensively. And if some guys aren't getting it done, they can go to the next 2 or 3 and they're just as good. And the same on the mound. And that's why they felt that they could pull maybe some of the guys with more experience that had started and put them in the bullpen and make their team stronger. And, you have to beat them. You got to plan for 27 outs or whatever it takes, and you got to hold them down because they can do it. I just think they're deep.
And do you have a pitch count on Kevin when he goes out each night?
We don't have a pitch count the first night. The second day we could. It just depends. A lot of times it's what you see. Has Kevin been pitching with a lot of runners on base, or is Kevin just rolling? Are they fouling off a bunch of pitches? Is it stressful? That's how we judge it. How much stress has he been under out there? And, you think about Tennessee, the one hitter, the first baseman, he had a 15 pitch at bat on him. That hurt us. I would have rather had him get a single and move on. But, so that's how you evaluate that. You just kind of look at the overall body of work a little bit, or what he's done the last maybe week.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Aiden?
Hey, Coach, I also had a questions about Kopp's, just his relationship with Opitz behind the plate. They've been together for a long time off the field. And then just how much has Casey kind of contributed to how well Kevin has pitched this season?
Well, they have a great relationship on and off the field. Obviously on the baseball field, there's big time chemistry there. I think they can think for each other almost. And I think Casey's been a huge part of the success. We may send in a suggestion here, or Casey may look at us, but we let those guys roll because they want to work fast. We want to keep the rhythm going. And, we trust both of them, make good decisions. there's something going on, we really want a certain pitch, we're going to let them know. But for the most part, it's probably 95% of the time they're making the decision on which pitch to call, and they move fast, and that's good. Rhythm, pitching and hitting is good.
Come back around to the final few questions. Bob?
Yeah, Dave, you mentioned Welch, or you were asked about Welch earlier, and I think he's like 4 of 8 or 4 of 9 or something like that as a pinch hitter. I'll check with Oliver. But what do you think's the key to a guy batting like? I know it's a small sample size, but that's pretty impressive. For a guy to come in cold and get hits like that.
Well, he starts to get ready on the bench mentally. He knows when and who I might want to pinch hit for. So I'm over there and I start to look around and he's standing right behind me and he's already got a bat in his hand. And that's what the good ones do. They figured out, this is my role. This is where I'm going to contribute. Whether that's, obviously he'd like to be an everyday starter, and I think he will one day here with that bat. But yeah, it's that he's ready. And it's not like I just call him and he's got to go find his batting gloves and his helmet and his bat. And then next thing you know, he takes one practice swing, he's in the box. He's already getting ready an inning or two earlier. And when we say, hey, you're going to go do this or that, he's already 2 steps ahead of us. And I think that's contributed a lot. And the other fact is that he's got a really good swing. And he doesn't go all crazy up there. And he'll take a walk. If he needs a walk, take the walk.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Hutch?
Yeah, Dave, I'm just curious how Jackson Wiggins has kind of bounced back after his outing the other night. Have you seen him in practice and stuff like that?
Yeah, he threw well the other day for Coach Hobbs, and he seemed fine. I don't know what to tell you there. I mean, we haven't played a game since, so he hasn't been out there, but we believe in him. And if you don't see him this weekend, definitely see him in the tournament.
Last question coming from Tom.
Dave, only 9 SEC teams have won their first 9 series. Excuse me, only 2 SEC teams won their first 9 series. Only one has won every series in a season. How meaningful is it that this streak you're on of winning SEC series?
Well, we haven't discussed that either with the players, obviously. We just play, but, I mean, if we win the series, we know that we handle our own destiny. So that's probably the biggest part. We want to win the series because it keeps us at the top. If we don't, we don't. But I mean, it's kind of neat. I think it'd be something you talk about down the road. It's something that you probably don't expect going into the season because the league's so good. Something's going to happen. You're not going to play well one weekend, or somebody's really going to play well. So it's kind of unique, obviously, with the league being what it is, and it hasn't been done very much. But we're going to try to win Thursday, and bottom line, we'd like to win the series.